Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's Beyond the Diploma series. Last week we talked about community colleges, and today's lesson focuses on four-year universities. So when we graduate from high school, you may typically have the option to go into the workforce, go to college, or enlist in the military, or pursue a combination of these options. And when people say college, they again usually think of universities, but college is actually anything, any type of education after high school that helps you build skills and prepare for your career. So today, in that middle column under colleges, we're going to be focused just in on universities.
Hi, everyone. So like Mrs. Rodriguez mentioned, last week we actually had the opportunity to talk about community colleges. This week our focus is going to be on universities. Again, we want to remind you that there are many different post-high school options, but today you will learn all about universities. Alrighty, so what is a university? A university is a public or private four-year institution. How do you attend a university? So typically students usually that attend comm schools, right? They have the opportunity to apply directly to a four-year university. This is because in order to be eligible to apply, you need to complete all of your A through G classes in high school with grades of C or better by the end of 12th grade. So if you're a freshman in college at the university level, that means you went right out of high school. Now, students, typically our students here at Richland High School, you guys go straight to a community college, and after 2 years, you can transfer in to a university. This is usually after 2 years and 60 transferable units. In order to be able to transfer successfully, you should have a GPA of B or better. For all universities, UC schools, which we will talk about today, or a C or better for Cal State universities. Either path works. It really just depends on your timeline, finances, and your personal goals. And if you see here, there's a little table for you to see the types of programs that are offered at four-year universities. You can actually earn your bachelor's degree, master's degree, or your doctoral degree at a university.
All right, so there are two main types of universities. Public universities are typically funded by the government and operated by the government. And so in our state, we have universities, Cal State universities and universities of California. Those are the CSU and the UC system schools. And then we have the other group of universities that are private and independent colleges and universities that are independently funded and operated. Typically, they're funded through students' tuition, so how much we pay to attend college. Usually tuition is a little bit higher at private and independent colleges and universities. They can also be funded through donations, endowments, which just means large amounts of money that are donated to these private institutions so that they can operate. Both offer excellent programs, and the main differences are usually the cost, the size of the schools, and then the campus culture. So let's take a look at the University of California schools. The UC system has 9 campuses that award bachelor's degrees, master's, and doctoral degrees. The minimum GPA to apply to and attend California University of California is a 3.0, which means A and B averages. Admissions requirements include a comprehensive review. So it's an application, and then they consider other extracurricular involvement, maybe volunteer work, maybe some projects that are going to be related to the major or what you want to study, some personal qualities that you include in your application, or improvement. You've shown improvement. Maybe you started at Richland, you graduated from Richland, you went to community college. Your grades are now improved. You have an A and B average, and you now have the option of transferring into a University of California school. Typical tuition, this isn't super black and white. It's going to depend on how much you qualify for financial aid, but the usual tuition, $13,900 per year, which is probably a little bit higher now.
Hi. Alrighty. Thank you. Now I will be talking about the CSUs, the California State Universities. And as it says in the name, all of these schools are in California. So there are 23 campuses across California. And like I mentioned earlier, you can actually earn your bachelor's, master's, and some doctoral degrees. Minimum GPA here is 2.5. You should have a solid C average. And they mainly focus on your GPA, or like Mrs. Rodriguez mentioned, they see that, yes, you attended Richland, maybe you had a handful of D's and F's, but then you went to community college and you did amazing, and now you're ready for the university level. It's one of the Cal States are actually one of the most affordable four-year options, with tuition around $6,000 per year. However, I know that number sounds big, but federal and state financial aid apply here as well. So you will be able to get most of your tuition covered depending on what you qualify for.
All right, now back to private and independent colleges and universities. And so again, they vary in size and focus, but they all operate similarly. They usually require a 3.0 or a B average GPA to get in. They offer bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees. The admission process, of course, they look at your GPA, which is your grades. Some of them want university entrance exams. If you're applying straight out of high school, so that would be your SAT or your ACT. If you're transferring in after you've completed 2 years at a community college, you do not have to take the SAT or the ACT at that point. Tuition costs, this is where we reference it's a little bit more expensive to attend, but some schools have a little bit more financial aid to help you attend and pay for school. So tuition costs could start at around $20,000 per year. And again, they do accept financial aid. So over in our map, these are just some of the private independent colleges and universities in our state. We're going to give a quick shout out to Mr. Wilsey, who attended Hope International University. Miss Damon actually attended University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee, so that's on the map to the left. And Mrs. Banuelos, who attended the University of La Verne here in Southern California.
Yes, and prior to La Verne, I started school at the community college level and then eventually made my way to the Cal State. So I was, some of you went on the field trip to Cal State Dominguez. That is actually where I earned my bachelor's degree. Alrighty, so some popular majors at local universities. I am not going to read everything, but here Mrs. Rodriguez did a really good job at putting what the colleges are known for, right? So if you're interested in attending USC, they are known for business administration, computer science, economics, obviously their football, right? Let's see, UC Irvine, where Mr. Kitchen graduated from. You can see a list of majors that are popular there. Fullerton, Ms. De La Vega, and Ms. G were students there. Mrs. Rodriguez attended or still attends, right, San Diego State University. These are some of the majors that they are known for: business, engineering, public health, and public affairs. And the list goes on. So if you are interested in any of these majors and you really want to go to, for example, Cal State Long Beach, know that I know for sure nursing is very, very popular there. So we need you to be on your A game, and we can help you get there.
All right, so many of our students that attend community college will have the option to transfer out to a four-year university. You'll complete 2 years at community college, and you'll complete the last 2 at a university to earn your bachelor's degree. And again, you have Cal State, University of California, private universities, in-state, out-state. You just have to focus on your grades. Your GPA resets, starts over once you start community college, and you build a brand new academic record. Another really cool thing about local California universities is that they now offer something called the Transfer Admission Guarantee Program. As long as you identify early on what program you want to study, what your major, your college major is going to be, okay, you can build an academic plan to transfer out of your local community college by taking the exact courses that the university will require. And as long as you get either a C average for a Cal State or a B average for a UC, you are guaranteed admission, which means they will accept you as soon as you're done with the requirements they ask you to finish within those 2 years. So that is something really unique to our California universities. And just know, Richland does not determine where your future goes and where you're going to end up. As soon as we start community college, everything resets. They don't even look at your high school record, which is really helpful for a lot of students to just take a breath and continue on in pursuing upper division coursework, which is essentially anything you complete after the first 2 years of community college, because you do have that option to transfer out. And then lastly is this question we often get: can I afford to attend a university? So all public universities and some private institutions accept federal financial aid. So we have to complete the financial aid application, which is either going to be the FAFSA or the California DREAM Act, which we also call the CATA. Depending on your situation, we will help you work through that when you are a senior or will be graduating with us. And the cost of attending the four-year university varies depending on the type of university you choose and whether you live at home or drive or live on campus. You qualify again by completing your financial aid application every year before March 2nd. Very specific. You have to submit your application every single year for financial aid, and then you must be a full-time student. Scholarships are also available based on grades. And every institution, community college and university, has additional money you may qualify for just based on academics, just your grades alone.
All righty, so what is next? Coming up, actually today, we have Jordan Morris joining us from Santiago Canyon College. She will be available to answer any questions you might have about her journey out in the quad during lunch, so feel free to stop by the booth. Next week on Monday, we will be doing our lesson once more, live streaming it. We're going to focus on workforce, trades, and apprenticeships. And then lastly, we do have a field trip coming up November 18th to Cal State Fullerton. If you are interested, you can check in to see if there is space, but permission slips will be due next week, Tuesday, no later than Tuesday, I believe. And if you have any questions about universities, please let us know. You guys are meeting with us individually. We are more than happy to give you more information, okay? Thank you, guys.